The Affordable Care Act is moving forward. That funding is already in place. You can't shut it down. Keeping the people's government open is not a concession to me. Keeping vital services running and hundreds of thousands of Americans on the job is not something you give to the other side. It's our basic responsibility. You don't get to extract a ransom for doing your job, for doing what you're supposed to be doing anyway, or just because there's a law there that you don't like.
All right, 24 past the hour. Joining us now from Capitol Hill, Republican Congressman from Oklahoma, Representative Tom Cole.
Tom, it's great to have you here.
How you doing there?
How you holding up?
I'm doing great.
Yeah?
Good, just living the dream.
Yeah, what dream is that?
Hey, Tom, so tell us.
More like a nightmare.
You know, Tom, it's hard for us to understand, because when I talk to in the Republican Party on the Hill like you, they're sitting there going, we're running into a brick wall.
I don't think he understands either, Tom. Do you?
What's going on?
Well, I think, look, the Speaker's trying to negotiate. He's put a succession of offers on the table, which I think show a lot of flexibility. The one last night is something that Democrats ought to be able to accept. The first element is, look, no special treatment for politicians, which they're getting right now, and I think probably getting illegally. So we should just end that. Second, if we're going to let off big business, we're going to let off big labor, then let's not mandate that individual Americans participate in this for 1 year. Instead, we're going to force individual Americans to do something we're not asking big organizations to do. That's just simply wrong, particularly when the program's clearly not ready for prime time.
But is this a vehicle to do all that in? A temporary spending bill?
Yeah, of course, what the Speaker asked for last night was just let's go to conference, and I think that's the right thing to do. Sit down and try and resolve this. We might not get exactly what we want. I'm sure we wouldn't, but we would certainly, I think, move in the right direction. I think it's indefensible, for instance, to give Congress something that the average American in an exchange simply can't get. Why in the world should members of Congress get that?
Tom Cole, explain within the conference now, what are the divisions? I understand you've got differences with the president that you just laid out, but what are the differences within the Republican Party in the House right now?
Well, they're probably on both ends. There are some people that simply say, look, we need the whole law repealed or changed. That's not going to happen with a Democratic Senate and a Democratic president. And there are some people then on the left that said, look, let's just roll over here. I think the appropriate thing is what the Speaker's advocating. Let's go to conference. Let's sit down with the Democrats and see if they're willing to negotiate on anything at all. I think this is now merging into the debt ceiling fight, frankly. CR is only part of it. So, perhaps we can get short-term CR and then have a much larger deal that would give us some budget stability, which is where I think we ought to go.
Didn't the Democrats offer opportunity for conference many times and it was rejected? What's different now? The wall?
That was a conference on the budget where they were playing games. I think this is an effort to resolve this particular dilemma and then move into a larger negotiation.
Congressman, you just said it's a merger, what's going on now, a merger with the debt ceiling deal, and that you'd like to collapse the two and get a concrete, a larger, more specific package. Yet what hope would there be that that larger, more specific package, even talking about it, wouldn't engender the same sort of dissension within your own ranks as we see happening today?
Look, I think if we get to a larger deal, there's got to be dissension on both sides. I'm one of the ones that actually believe there's elements in the president's budget that could form the basis for a compromise. If the president is for change CPI, so am I. The president is for means testing for Medicare in his budget, so am I. President's for a lot of cuts in Medicare savings, to be fair. I think those are things that we could probably agree on. And I think they provide the money then to both allow you to raise the debt ceiling and to look at easing sequester, which I think both sides agree is a very blunt instrument.
Yeah, the president would be against gutting the law. So
Tom, how long do you see this lasting?
Ending it sooner rather than later, I think, is better in my view. I've never been for shutting down the government. I think it's a big mistake. And it's a mistake not just because of politics, but quite honestly, at the end of the day, it's not who gets the blame, but who gets hurt. And a lot of Americans that want to be at work, that should be at work, aren't. at work this morning, and millions of others beyond that require, government services or needs are not going to get the services they deserve. So the quicker you end that situation, I think the better off you are.
Congressman Tom Cole, thank you very, very much. Good luck. Here now, host of